Hello and welcome to Monin Park for the UMass Boston season and home opener. We apologize for the technical difficulties. After all, it's 2021, but it's not that much better than the start or than the end of 2020 just quite yet. It is a gorgeous day here in Boston. Southern Maine, who comes into this one ranked 21st, their lowest of the season after a difficult week where they went 1-3, including a weekend split at Western Connecticut State. Currently leads 3-0 as they've roughed up Tyler Arruda for 5 hits already, including a couple of extra base hits. It's Nick Palma at the plate for UMass Boston, with Gianni Zarrilli over at first base. He's got the Beacon's first hit of the 2021 season. Just had a single that he looped into left field. The Beacons had runners at first and third in the first inning before an inning-ending double play. Looking to get on the board here against Joshua Joy. Joy, the junior out of Smithfield, Maine. I say junior as he issues the walk to Palma. All of Southern Maine Sports Information Department elected to keep everyone the same year, whereas UMass Boston is elected to move everyone up a year. So everyone from Southern Maine, you can add a year, and everyone from UMass Boston, it would be their true year, as if last season counted, which it didn't. You could see all of these players come back for 2 more seasons if they wanted to, on top of their regular 4, as this pitch is in there for strike 1 to Aiden Blake with 2 runners aboard. Blake gets the start today at third base after serving as one of the Beacon's 2 shortstops last season. He was the backup to Gianni Zarrilli, who stands out at second base. Blake, a player that, along with Zarrilli, has been pointed out by Brendan Eichbrod as players who have really worked hard in the strength and conditioning program during the offseason, added some muscle, and have really looked good with the bat as he earns the start after the Beacons' 2 third basemen from a year ago, the 2 guys who are battling for the job, still on the roster, but don't get the start on opening day. That's Thomas Q and Noah Motter. It's 0-2 here to Blake. He takes a pitch low, 1-2 now. Blake, the sophomore out of Lakeville, Mass, attended a Penequit Regional High School. Season ago, got 4 at-bats, 1 for 4 with a run scored, 2 strikeouts, and a walk. Beacons try to get at least 1 run back here. 1-2 pitch. It's a great breaking ball on the inside half for strike 3. First strikeout of the day for Joy. And that'll bring up the Beacon's 9-hole hitter, Ryan Leung, who has more experience as a Beacon position player than any player in today's opening day lineup. The junior who started all 4 games last year and 10 games as a freshman, grounds it over to third. Should be an easy play for Andrew Hillier. Tosses it across, and the Beacons get some runners on, but for the second consecutive inning are stymied by Joy and the Huskies. We'll be back after this commercial break, and then we're going to try to bring you all of our pregame and some updates around the rest of the conference as we go along. It's Southern Maine 3, UMass Boston 0 after 2 innings.
The 5-campus UMass system is the university that educates the workforce of Massachusetts. We recognize that we are truly here for a reason, and that recognition inspires us and drives us every single day.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
And welcome back to beautiful Monin Park. My name is Seth Dorensky. Let's take a look at the Southern Maine lineup. This lineup is already hitting for some of these guys the second time around here in the third inning. Sam Troiano, Andrew Olzak, Andrew Hillier, 3 of the top 4 all-conference guys back in 2019. Cam Seymour, an early contender for Little East Conference Rookie of the Year. Jonathan Wilson has been hitting well as well. Jason Kamalainen is a veteran catcher, but these other guys a little bit newer names as Southern Maine graduated a lot of upperclassmen back in 2019 when they made a run to the regional final before losing to a New England college team the Beacons defeated in their own super regional. If Southern Maine had been able to hold off the Pilgrims in extras, these two teams actually would have played for a spot in the College World Series. It's Andrew Hillier, the cleanup hitter in today's game. He doubled to center field back in the first inning and was stranded at second. Takes it up high 1-1. Tyler Aruda, the Beacons starting pitcher, an all-conference, all-region pitcher in 2019, pitched last season and struggled. Made 2 starts, 7.88 ERA in 8 innings. Did strike out 15 batters in those 8 innings, but opponents hit .361 against him, and it's been a slow start to today's game as he has already given up 5 hits, including a triple and a double. 2-1 to Hillier is chopped foul. 2-2 now. Hillier to be followed by Wilson and Pike. Southern Maine has had a leadoff extra base hit in each of the first 2 innings. A triple by Sam Troiano in the first. He scored on a sacrifice fly. And actually Arlo Pike, who led off the second, doubled, and he scored on a sacrifice fly. So makes it easier to score when you've got that leadoff base runner in scoring position. Count runs full here. Aruda does have the 1 walk, issued that in the second inning to Sam Troiano, who's reached twice out of the leadoff spot. 3-2, up high. And for the third consecutive inning, a Husky reaches base to lead off the inning. Brings up Jonathan Wilson. Wilson, in his 3rd season, the sophomore second baseman out of East Granby, Connecticut. Played in 18 games as a freshman with just 19 at-bats back in 2019, but has been really good this year as he chops that one softly down the third base line, and Blake will throw it well wide, and then it's knocked off of Como. This will send runners to second and third on the 2-base error by Aiden Blake. And the Beacons, who struggled defensively in their first 4 games last year, have their first error here in 2021. Should have been not an easy play because Blake had to charge, but it was a very softly hit ground ball, and instead of getting it out, puts 2 runners in scoring position. For Arlo Pike, the DH who doubled to center all the way to the wall in center and scored back in the second as Pike, big swing and a miss. Arlo, the sophomore DH out of Buxton, Maine, was a very good football defensive lineman. Won the Frank Gaziano Award at Bonnie Eagle High School. 0-1 is fouled out of play. Arlo on the season, making his 13th appearance and 9th start. 10 for 29. 3 runs scored, 4 RBI, 3 doubles, a homer, and 11 strikeouts versus 3 walks. The 0-2 pitch to him is well outside. He's coming off of a great weekend against Western Connecticut State. Went 4 for 6 on Saturday with a run scored, 2 RBI, a double, a homer, and a walk. Finished 3 for 3 in the second game. A walk-off win for the Huskies, who served as the home team on the road. Hit his first career homer in the first game in which the Huskies tried to come back from a big deficit, but were undone by a grand slam in the 7th inning. 2-2 here to Pike after a walk and in 2-base error by the third baseman have put runners on second and third. As we've got Brendan Eigerbrodt, the Beacons head coach, coming out to the mound. Eigerbrodt, who we have an interview with, but we didn't get a chance to play it for you in his 17th season. Big thing that he said coming into this game is UMass Boston was not going to treat it like a scrimmage. As UMass Boston, again, they're playing their first game. Southern Maine, their 18th of the season. They're going to try to be as competitive as possible, but Clearly a challenging start here for not only a starting pitcher, but for the Beacons in general. Didn't expect to see Arruda go more than about 60 to 70 pitches at maximum. UMass Boston, all of the athletics department, not getting to really start their spring practices until early March. And a COVID pause a couple weeks ago even slowed their full team practices more, as this one's hit out to Leung on a line. And he makes the play for the first out of the inning. A big first out as it keeps runners at second and third, and maybe Arruda can work his way out of trouble. Brings up Tom Visosky, the sophomore right fielder out of Colchester, Vermont. Played baseball and basketball at Colchester, where he was a 3-time All-State honoree. Hit almost 500 his senior year. Visosky is playing in his 14th game, 11th start, hitting just under 300 at 11 for 38. Takes the first pitch and fouls it off the other way. Visosky with 6 runs, 8 RBI, pair of doubles, a homer, 8 strikeouts, and 7 walks. In his first at bat, he singled over to the second baseman, stole second, and then came in to score on Andrew Olzak's RBI single back in the second inning with 2 outs. That was the third run of the game. 0-1 breaking ball nearly catches Visosky, who wears the mask at the plate. See a mixture. Some Beacons fielders are wearing the mask, others are not. Very similar to what you see in Major League Baseball, where some guys have continued to wear the mask even here in 2021. 1-1 offering, fouled right back at us, 1-2. Arruda already at 53 pitches. This should be his last inning. He hopes that he can get through it. UMass Boston's going to have to balance a difficult 16-game conference schedule in which they're going to have to cram a lot of games in between now and May the 8th, less than a month. Fouled off once again. Good work from Visosky, 7-hole hitter, who will be followed by Jason Kamalainen, the catcher, who hits 8th, and Donato Tachi is in the hole as Southern Maine looks to get at least one more run. They scored 1 in the first, 2 more in the second. We'll talk more about this all-time series, but the Huskies have never won here at Monin Park. That was the big story coming in. 0-8, the 1-2 weekly fouled, but good job just to get a piece of it. Southern Maine desperately wants to get at least one run in here. Second and third with no out. The soft liner back to the second baseman off the bat of Arlo Pike. And now Visosky fouls off a couple of pitches, trying to put the ball in play. 1-2 offering, hit up the middle. Diving effort from Zarrilli, gets past him. The runner from third will score. Having to head back towards second was Pike, and that'll keep him from scoring. It's runners at the corners with 1 out as Visosky comes through with his second hit of the day. Hard line drive up the middle. That will score Jonathan Wilson, who walked to open the inning on a full count. And now we've got runners at first and third. Pike at third, who reached on the error. For Jason Kamalainen. Kamalainen flew out to center a sacrifice fly that plated Arlo Pike back in the second inning. Jason, a junior, right out of Gorham, Maine, the home of the University of Southern Maine, at least one of its campuses, the campus that we're talking about. Played his high school baseball and basketball in Gorham. Some of those facilities are right down the street. In fact, the two schools actually shared the tennis facility. An all-state player as a senior. He's a guy who saw some time back in 2018 and 19, but he was more of a backup catcher, more split time with Richard. Played in 63 games, but only had 161 at-bats, hit 264. 24 runs and 21 RBI in those 63 games. This season, he's been the full-time catcher, making his 17th appearance and 14th start in this game number 18 of the year. Long wait, because Aruta's going to step off. Runners at first and third here. Already a run in on the inning, a run in every inning. Beacons would love a double play. Taking off from second. This is a nice squeeze bunt. Only plays to first. Blake throws it. No one covering third. And a great job base running from Visosky. So it'll go down as another sacrifice. This one will go down as a 5-3 sac bunt. A pair of RBIs without an official plate appearance. And tremendous base running from Visosky. The shortstop, Zarrilli, didn't cover third, and neither did the pitcher, Aruda. And that puts a runner at third base with 2 down for Donato Tachi. UMass Boston sensed there could be something going on, and in the end, it works out perfectly for Southern Maine, who's added a second consecutive crooked number, and they have a chance to really blow this game wide open. Popped up on the infield. Aruda will take it himself, and that could be his day as the 1U pop-up ends it, but not before Southern Maine scores a pair of runs, pair of unearned runs, because of the error there in the inning by Aiden Blake. UMass Boston will go with the top of the order. Ben Irvine, Steve Brookwell, and Curtis Tirone looking to cut away at this 5-0 deficit.
Cheer for the stumbles. That he should have had that. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
See the UMass Boston starting lineup. And right there, right away, you see the guys hitting first and fourth. Senior transfers. Ben Irvine out of the University of Maryland, where he spent a season. Craig Corliss spent 3 years at D1 Siena College. Even the guys hitting second and third are only in their second year with the Beacons. Steve Brookwell started at Villanova University, ended up at a JUCO in New Jersey. Curtis Tirone spent time at Patrick Henry Community College and Suffolk University, as the Beacons played just 4 games last season. Those are their hitting stats from a year ago. Looking to get hot here in the third inning. Irvine was hit by a pitch to lead off the bottom of the first and then stole third base. If you're familiar with Ben Irvine, you shouldn't be surprised. In his second season as a JUCO All-American at Northern Essex Community College, he had 40 stolen bases. This is a high chopper. Hillier's there with a long reach and able to throw across before he could get the speedy Irvine. Another nice play from Hillier, who has been very active there at the hot corner. So 1 pitch, 1 out for Joshua Joy, as it brings up Steve Brookwell, who is going to be our player to watch. Senior out of Hightstown, New Jersey. Takes a fastball on the inside, half 0-1. Brookwell last season was looking like he's going to be one of the top Beacons hitters. Went 6 for 19, 3 runs, tied for the team lead with 4 RBI. Had 2 doubles, 3 walks, and a stolen base. Hit safely in every game. Quickly behind 0-2 here to Joshua Joy. The 0-2 pitch just misses. Joy on this season coming into today, making his team-high 5th start. 1-2 with a 3.338 ERA. 24 innings, 18 strikeouts to just 4 walks. Make it 19, actually 20, as the silly breaking ball. That one was probably a good 15, maybe even 20 miles per hour slower than his typical fastball. And Brookwell well out in front, tried to hold up. And a quick 2 outs. UMass Boston has put a runner on in every inning. In fact, they had 2 runners on in each of the first 2 innings, but there's 2 down for Curtis Tirone, Beacons DH today, who walked in the first and then was erased on an inning-ending 4-6-3 double play to end the first. Another good breaking ball from Joy makes it 1-1, 2 down. The fastball misses well outside. Joy, despite having pretty good stats, has not gotten much run support this year. That's part of the reason why the team is 1-3 in his first 4 starts. Fastball on the outside half, tailing away from Tirone, 2-2. Team has scored 5 runs or fewer in each of his starts. In fact, shutout in each of his last 2. In comparison, the team averages just under 7.5 runs per game. 2-2 breaking ball. Q shot out to left, and Tirone reaches for the second consecutive time. He's got his first hit of 2021, and the Beacons have a base runner here for Craig Corliss, the cleanup hitter and senior transfer catcher out of Siena College. Corliss, a Massachusetts guy. In fact, he's from Hopkinton, Mass., the starting point of the Boston Marathon, which hopefully will be back in 2022. Very odd to go 2 consecutive years here in the city of Boston without, honestly, the biggest holiday in Massachusetts, Marathon Monday. Corliss was a very talented player at Worcester Academy before heading off to Siena in New York, where he made 61 appearances and 41 starts over 3 seasons. 1-0 misses out wide, 2-0. Corliss only hit 173 over his 3 seasons, 27 of 156, 20 runs scored, 12 RBI, 7 doubles, and a home run. Hit into a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play his first time up. Breaking ball gets away from the catcher, and that will allow Tirone to move up to second on the pass ball by Kamalainen. Rio pitch. That one catches the outside corner. And it's 3-1 as Corliss has a chance with a hit here to likely score Tirone from second, who's got decent speed. Joy, double look back at second. 3-1 offering, fouled off, and we've got a full count here. With 2 down in the second inning, Southern Maine has struggled against conference teams. Got off to a really strong start, 9-1. Their lone loss in extras to UMass Dartmouth, at UMass Dartmouth, but has struggled as of late. 2-5 in their last 7. That one catches the corner at the knees, and Joy comes up with a big strikeout. Was behind 3-0, comes up with the K to leave another Beacon on. 4 runners left on base through 3 frames, and Southern Maine has a strong 5-0 lead as the Beacons will go to the bullpen.
Cheer for the stumbles. The he shoulda had that's. And the tears that linger. For in those moments, greatness lies. There, you will find the provoked, the determined, the unified. It's in those moments that champions are born.
UMass Boston will go to the pen for the first time in 2021 as Tyler Aruta's day is done. 3 innings, 6 hits, 5 runs, 3 of them earned. He also walked 2 and struck out 2. So a difficult first start for Aruta against a Southern Maine team that has been seeing live pitching for about 2 months in games, whereas Aruta has only really probably had a couple of outings. The Beacons haven't had a full intra-squad all season long, as they had just 5 full team practices before today's game. The new pitcher is a new look for UMass Boston. Another one of those transfers we were talking about. It's DJ Lopes, the junior lefty out of North Dartmouth, Massachusetts. Actually a former teammate of Aruta's at Greater New Bedford Vocational Tech High School. Say that 3 times fast. The pair were part of the 2017 Division II state title team, which was the first time that Greater New Bedford Vocational Tech had won a state championship in the 108 years of the school. Lopes started his career at Massasoit Community College, a JUCO powerhouse here in Mass. His freshman year he struggled. 7 appearances, 3 starts, 0-4 with a 7.71 ERA in 14 innings. But his sophomore year, it was short, but he pitched well. In his 1 start against Mohawk Valley Community College, through a 7-inning complete game, allowed 3 runs, 2 earned, struck out 8 versus 2 walks. And he is a guy the Beacons are extremely high on. Hard-throwing lefty with a good curveball. They hope that he can be one of their top arms, whether in the rotation or out of the pen. And, well, he's going to get to face the top of the order here in the 4th, as we'll see Sam Troiano for the 3rd time already. Troiano has tripled to right center, leading off the game and scored. Walked and was stranded at second base in the 2nd. This is 2nd time leading off. Lopes misses well wide with his first offering. All the way back to the stop. Bring you the Beacons defensive lineup after this batter. UMass Boston has no starters on opening day today that were starters on the 2019 College World Series team. Even a bit of turnover from the 2020 team. They've had some newcomers step in and earn the job. Nico Kides, who's the only guy on the roster who was a 2019 starter on that College World Series team behind the plate, unavailable for the Beacons' first couple of games. They hope to have him back within the week, as he should be a key contributor, whether he's catching, a DH, maybe even at first base. Kides a strong bat and a good defensive player. That's a little bit high. 3-1 now, as Lopes tries to avoid walking the leadoff man, Troiano, the junior out of South Portland, Maine, center fielder. He's the 2018 LEC Rookie of the Year. 2nd team All-Conference player in 2019. 3-1, big swing and a miss. Couldn't catch up to the fastball. Troiano has started every game this season. Came in with a slash line of 282, 350 OBP, and a slugging percentage just under 550. 3-2 offering from Lopes, and he swings through the fastball. Well, that's what you want to see out of a player making their first appearance. Got behind early. In fact, his first pitch was so wild it made it back to the stop, but Lopes settles down and gets Troiano. First time the Beacons have been able to get the leadoff hitter today. Brings up Andrew Olzak, who hit a sacrifice fly in the 1st to score the first run of the day, and then singled just past the shortstop. Zarrilli back in the... Actually, no, that was to the left of Zarrilli. We've already seen 2 hard hit balls that have scored runs through the left side. He's got a pair of RBI and a hit. 1-0 to Olzak. The senior shortstop, 5th year out of Danvers, Massachusetts. 3rd team All-Region player, 1st team All-Conference player in 2019. And when we talk about a super senior, he played in 139 games his first 3+ seasons. Southern Maine played just the one game in 2020, a loss to Trinity College before the season was canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. So that's a single up the middle, just underneath the glove of Lopes. Brings up Cam Seymour. Seymour is one of 3 guys in the lineup thus far to not have reached. He's really struggled. A pair of strikeouts against Aruda, but not a guy who has struggled much this season. Seymour in his second season, first full season with the Huskies out of Saco, Maine. Breaking ball bounces up there. Scoreless does a good job to keep it in front. Attended Thornton Academy in Maine. This season he started every single game. Leads the team with his 24 hits and just 67 at-bats. A team best .358 average. Also a team high .701 slugging percentage, which is good for third best in the conference. 15 runs, a league-leading 24 RBI, and 6 home runs, including a 3 home run, 8 RBI game in his Little East Conference debut. A victory over UMass Dartmouth at UMass Dartmouth. For that performance, back at the end of March, he was named the National Rookie of the Week. Third player in Southern Maine history to have won that award. 1-0 to the lefty. Fastball up high, 2-0. He has struggled as of late. Over his last 7 games, when the team has struggled, going 2-5 during that frame, 6 for 27. 2 runs scored, 4 RBI, a homer, which was his only extra base hit. 2-0 pitch, chopped over to first. Como, a nice snag, throws it to the shortstop. Zarrilli gets it out of the glove in time, and it's an inning-ending 3-6-3 double play. Great work from Michael Como, able to start and end the double play. And the Beacons, for the first time this season, for the first time today, have a scoreless inning defensively. See if they can get anything going with the sticks, as they will bring Como, Zarrilli, and Palma to the plate.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and I know how powerful words can be. The term gay doesn't mean stupid, lame, or less than.
So I pledge to speak up if I hear the term gay used in a derogatory way or any other homophobic terms.
If you can play in Division III.
I'm a Division III student athlete, and my teammates unconditionally accepted me as part of their family. So now I pledge to do the same for others. If you can play in Division III.
Michael Como is going to lead off the inning, and let's look at his defensive play first. Como, a guy who was playing behind some really good first basemen to start his career. Chris Fowler and Ryan McCormick, a pair of all-region players, able to get it out of the glove, and then the stretch there on the throw from Zarrilli. 3-6-3 double play, as we've got a stoppage. Beacons player trying to sneak into the right center field bullpen. Como, who actually grounded out on a nice play by Seymour. So Seymour and Como have made good defensive plays against each other. That was to start the second inning. Seymour able to make a nice play on a short hop over at first base. Quickly 0-2 to Como, who makes his first career opening day start. The senior out of Andover, Mass, making just his 20th career appearance, 7 for 17 though, 8 runs, 3 RBI, 4 doubles, and a homer. The 0-2 pitch, swung on and missed. For Joy, that is his 3rd strikeout of the game. Brings up Gianni Zarrilli, who singled out to left center field and was stranded at second base back in the second. One. Zarrilli, sophomore out of South Glastonbury, Connecticut, where he played baseball and basketball. Good breaking ball, but just a little bit low there on the inside half, 2-1. Zarrilli was the starter in all 4 games a year ago. 3 starts at shortstop and actually DH'd in the one game that they wanted to see Aiden Blake defensively. Finished 4 for 14 with 2 runs scored and 2 RBI. Had 2 hits in each of his first 2 games, but struggled his last 2. 2-2, swung on and missed. Back-to-back strikeouts from Joy to open the frame. In fact, 3 in a row. He got Craig Corliss looking to end the third. Brings up Nick Palma. Palma, the senior left fielder who also plays a little bit of first base. Takes the first pitch in there for a strike. Nick out of Peabody, Massachusetts, making his 45th career appearance and 10th start. No one misses out wide. Made 4 appearances last year, including 2 starts. Went 2 for 8 with a run scored and 2 RBI. Guy who always looked good at the plate. Hasn't been able to get his consistent chances. He and Chris Duco were battling for left field, that starting position. And I'm sure that we'll see both of those guys out in left field throughout the week, maybe even throughout today's game. 3-1 here as Joy tries to avoid walking a batter with 2 outs. Chopper over to Wilson. Should be an easy play. Picks, throws, and the Beacons go down 1-2-3 for the first time today. So both teams with a scoreless inning. Here in the 4th, we head to the 5th. It's Southern Maine leading 5-0.
The University of Massachusetts Boston. It's just minutes from downtown, and the Princeton Review calls it one of the best values in the country. A nationally recognized institution of academic excellence and research, UMass Boston offers more than 150 undergraduate and graduate programs, 16 Division III sports, and more than 100 student organizations. To learn more about the opportunities waiting for you at UMass Boston, visit in person or online. UMass Boston, a research university with a teaching soul.
DJ Lopes warming up for his 2nd inning of work. Let's take a look at some more stuff from our pregame we would have liked to have gotten to. Again, sorry for those technical difficulties. We wish that we could have fans in attendance this season. We knew it was frustrating for you. It was frustrating on our end as well. UMass Boston has only had 5 full team practices, so the Beacons behind the 8 ball from where they would like to be. Certainly in a normal season they would have had dozens and intra-squads and this, that, and the other, but UMass Boston, certainly going to be an uphill battle, especially this first week of the season when they play 4 conference games. Southern Maine, hot start, 9-1, but since then they have struggled here, falling from as high as 7th in the national rankings down to 21st. The Beacons 8-3 against Southern Maine since 2016. In fact, this is a staggering stat. Southern Maine won the first 29 matchups between these two sides. All the way from 1989 to 2016. The Beacons earned their first win against Southern Maine in the 2006 LEC tournament. Since then, they're actually 19-16. And Southern Maine, you talk about a top 20 now, 21 team in the country. They're very good at a lot of things, but especially fielding, 6th best in the country, and in walks, hits per innings pitched. This is a pitching staff that brought back a lot of quality arms. Talk about Ben Lambert, former all-region pitcher, Gage Feeney, a former all-conference pitcher, Joshua Joy's great, James Sinclair, and out of the pen, they've got some very good arms as well. Colton Lawrence would be the biggest returning arm, but they've also brought in a tremendous transfer in Gavin Arsenault, former Maine Farmington pitcher, and Bryce Afton is a quality arm as well, one of the freshmen who didn't play last year, but playing this year and playing well. He's kind of that next dominant bullpen pitcher for Coach Flaherty at Southern Maine. On the same lines of a Jake Dexter or Richards back in the early 2010. 1-1 count here to Andrew Hillier. Cleanup hitter and third baseman. He leads off the 5th inning after DJ Lopes retired the Huskies in order in the 4th, excuse me. Long look in, and the 2-1 is popped up foul to get well out of play. Hillier out of Bangor, Maine is in his 6th season, and if he wants to, he can come back for a 7th. He was a freshman in 2016 when he was injured after just 3 games and took a medical hardship. Second-team All-Region player back in 2019. Also a second-team All-Conference player. Played at first and third base throughout his career. Career .350 hitter coming into today. It's now 3-2. Lopes, in his 1 inning of work, got a strikeout, a lot of softly hit single up the middle, but then an inning-ending 3-6-3 double play. Deacons have already allowed 7 hits and 2 walks to Southern Maine through 4+ innings. Very interesting to see how the Beacons can kind of fare against some of these teams that have played, in this case, 18 games, where 17 games. This is the Beacons' first. This is another hard hit ball up the middle. Hillier has a leadoff single. That's the 4th time in 5 innings that the Huskies have had a leadoff man aboard, and it'll bring up Jonathan Wilson, who has grounded out to second, walked, and scored. For Southern Maine, they're not going to feel bad for the Beacons in any way. 0-8 here at Monin Park, 0-6 against UMass Boston as the Beacons hosted the 2016 and 18 conference tournament. Huskies lost their first round games and then were eliminated by the top-seeded Beacons in both 2016 and 18. In fact, Beacons also eliminated the Huskies in 2019 on their own home field at Flaherty Field. And the Beacons on day 3 of the tournament, Beacons were in the winner's bracket, Southern Maine coming out of the loser's bracket, and they earned a 2-0 victory in the last meeting between these two teams all the way back in May of 2019. Seems like an eternity ago. Throw over to first to keep Hillier honest. This is a Southern Maine team that does not run all that much, with the exception of Troiano, who's got 8 steals in 9 attempts. The next highest player has 2. Hillier hasn't even attempted a steal this season. One coming to Jonathan Wilson. That breaking ball misses out wide. 1-1. Southern Maine scored 1 in the first, 2 more in the second, and 2 unearned runs in the third to take this commanding 5-0 lead. Another fouled off pitch. 1-2. Lopes has looked really good in this his first appearance. Brendan Igerbro singled out Lopes amongst a slew of new pitchers. Another guy that he had high hopes for was Christian Candelario Romero, a right-handed pitcher. He's going to be a sophomore this year who pitched at Patrick Henry Community College, along with a couple of true freshmen, Brendan Ferrari, Aiden McMillan, and Jackson Snyder, along with 4 sophomore pitchers who were going to have big years last year. Beacons had really high hopes for Alex Amalfi, Dylan Ryan, Alessio Presa-Marita, and Ethan Herrera, who last year was listed just as an outfielder, but this year going to be used as a reliever as well. Popped up on the right side, should be playable for Como in fair territory as he tightrope the line, and he makes the play for the first out of the 5th inning. No advance from Hillier, and that brings Arlo Pike to the plate. Pike doubled to center and scored in the second, and then he was the player who reached on the cue shot to the third baseman, Blake. Blake threw it wide of the bag, and then it got away from Como to allow runners to move up to second and third in the third inning with no outs, and Southern Maine was able to take advantage on a single up the middle and a sacrifice bunt to plate both runners. Lopes misses outside. Diving back into first is Hillier again, who's yet to attempt a stolen base. In fact, for his career, Hillier is just 1 for 4. Lopes and Como playing a little bit of catch over there. Pike getting his first real year as a starter back in 2019 during his freshman campaign. Made 29 appearances, but had just 42 at bats, 11 for 42 with 2 doubles and 19 strikeouts. 1-1 coming to Pike, breaking ball just a bit too far outside. 2-1. Southern Maine trying to score for the 5th time in 6 innings on what has turned out to be just a gorgeous Tuesday afternoon here in Boston. It's gray and overcast early in the day as the fastball just misses. Scoreless held it on the corner there for a while, but nothing doing from our home plate umpire. Richard Cacciatore Jr., Frank Auditor on the base pass, two veteran New England officials who we've seen a lot throughout the years. 3-1 offering. That one catches the corner. Looks pretty similar from my perspective, but Lopes will take it. Sure, Pike would have appreciated ball 4 there. So full count coming. We'll see if Hillier takes off. Just the 1 out. Hillier is going. 3-2 misses outside. The throw down doesn't matter. Might have been out, but he's called safe because the bag is his. And Lopes has his first walk of the day. 3rd walk issued by Beacon's pitchers. Two on with 1 out for Tom Visosky, who has singled twice, singled to second, stole a bag, and scored in the second. Had an RBI single to center to score a runner in the 3rd. Visosky had 3 multi-hit games coming into today, so 4 multi-hit games on the year already. And it snaps an 0 for 9 stretch for the sophomore out of Vermont. First pitch to the right-hander, catches the inside half. He was jumping out of the way, but good enough for Richard Cacciatore Jr. Beacons have a little bit of movement up in the bullpen. They expected to use 4 or 5 arms today. Got a timeout from behind home plate as Visosky was getting impatient. After a long pause, it does not seem like Lopes is going to be a guy who works too quickly, especially with runners on. 0-1, chopped foul, wide of third base, 0-2 now. Southern Maine has had a base runner on in every inning today. 0-2 coming. Visosky with 2 runners on and just the 1 out. Oh, 2 swung on and missed. Corliss thought about throwing down to first. Instead, it's a second out and a second strikeout for Lopes. Brings up Jason Kamalainen, who's yet to have an official at-bat. Had a sacrifice fly in the second and an RBI sacrifice bunt on a squeeze play in the third. So a guy who can really handle the bat. Kamalainen Jr. catcher who came in today hitting 167, 7 of 42. But now has 6 RBI in the year to go along with 9 runs scored. Single double and 1 home run. Oh, 0-1 coming to Kamalainen, and that a little bit too far inside with the breaking ball. 1-1 here. The runner at second base is Andrew Hillier, who singled up the middle to start the inning. Arlo Pike's over at first base, a 1-out walk. Another timeout as Southern Maine does not appreciate the pace of DJ Lopes. For UMass Boston, I don't think they can really complain with his effectiveness. This is his second inning of work. He's kept the Huskies off the board. 1-1 offering. Check swing. Did he go? And the base umpire, Frank Auditor, says no. Auditor, remember, with just 2 umpires at the college level, he's over to the left of the pitcher's mound here with runners at first and second so he can have a good view of third base. And that might have made it harder for him to see whether or not Kamalainen fully went. It was certainly a close play one way or another. 2-1 offering, up high, 3-1. Donato Tachi awaits on deck. Freshman out of Portland, Maine, who is 0 for 1 on the day. Actually 0 for 2. Flew out center and popped up a bunt. Lopes is 3-1. That one is popped up a mile high. Corliss is going to give chase. We'll see if this one has enough room. It looks like it does. And a huge third out for DJ Lopes. So Southern Maine puts 2 more runners on. But a foul pop that Corliss is able to fight the sun and make the play will keep this game at 5-0 after 4.5. We'll come back with a look at the all-time series, and we'll give you an update on the other games around the conference in the 6th inning as Southern Maine leads at 5-0.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball or it's not just about school. It's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
Bottom of the 5th inning, so let's take a look around at the all-time series. You see Southern Maine 45-19, but at one point it was 29-0, so the Beacons have had the better hand since May of 2006. Southern Maine 0-8 at Monin Park. These two teams played 3 times in 2019. UMass Boston won at Monin. Southern Maine won at Ed Flaherty Field. But in the LEC tournament, the Beacons eliminated the Huskies 2-0 on a pair of Ryan McCormick RBI singles in the first 4 innings. And Dylan Fashionpour, one of the Beacons' top returning players, went 6 innings, did not allow a run, 8 strikeouts against the Huskies in that contest as UMass Boston eliminated Southern Maine en route to their 3rd consecutive LEC tournament title, the only LEC program in baseball history to have ever won 3 consecutive LEC tournaments. The LEC tournament in baseball only dates back to 1997, the conference to 1986. So we come to the bottom of the 5th inning. UMass Boston trails it 5-0. The Beacons started the season as a nationally ranked team in that 18-21 mark, but are just out of the top 25 today. In fact, they were ranked 28th in the D3Baseball.com poll. Southern Maine was ranked in the low teens to start the year, went up to 7th, and now they're down to 21st after a 1-3 week last week. And Eastern Connecticut State, who's currently 1st in the conference, 15-2 overall, 8-0 in conference play, just ahead of the Beacons as they've received votes as well. They are 27th in a 25-team poll. Hit hard up the middle, high bounce, but it gets past Olzak nonetheless. And Aiden Blake has his first hit of the 2021 season. He's 1 for 2, and the Beacons have a leadoff base runner for the 2nd time today. Brings up Ryan Leung, the Beacons' 9-hole hitter for the 2nd time today. And the count 1-0. Leung grounded out to the 3rd baseman Hillier to end the 2nd inning with the pair of runners on board. UMass Boston yet to score in this contest, but they have put runners on in 4 of the first 5 innings, and they've left 4 on as Leung showing bunt here on a 2-0 pitch with Blake over at first base. Leung will pull it back, and it's 2-1. Leung does have pretty good speed, was a Beacons pinch runner during his freshman season, was used throughout their NCAA tournament run. And last season actually opened the season with a walk-off infield single to the 2nd baseman in which he just beat it out. That pitch nearly catches it. 3-1 now. Joy's worked pretty economically. Just 61 pitches thus far. 4+ innings. Three and one here to Leung as the Beacons try to put 2 runners on to starting inning for the first time today, and they do. Pitch is just a bit too far inside, and the Beacons have 2 on with no outs for the first time today, and it brings up Ben Irvine, the Maryland transfer, back in 2019 in his lone year as a Terrapin. Appeared in 14 games, made 3 starts, went 1 for 17, so was not a tremendous hitter at the D1 level, but in his final year at Northern Essex Community College, a strong JUCO program, as he pops this one up, it'll go foul. Irvine in that sophomore season where he was a JUCO all-region player and a second-team All-American. He hit .342, an on-base percentage of .417 with 2 homers, 32 RBIs, and 40 steals in 43 attempts. Second most in the nation at the JUCO level. 0-1 misses out wide, 1-1. To Irvine, who was hit by a pitch, stole a base in the first and was stranded at third, and then grounded out to the 3rd baseman back in the 3rd inning. 1-1 to Irvine, who's another player originally out of Mass, out of Peabody, Mass. That one misses out wide. 2-1, and all of a sudden, Joshua Joy struggling a little bit with his control. behind in the count to Aiden Blake to lead off the inning. A walk to Ryan Leung, now behind 2-1 to Irvine, who doesn't have a ton of pop, but really is trying to get runners on ahead of Brookwell, Tirone, and Corliss. Big hack, fouled back, and it's 2-2 here. Five strikeouts thus far for Joshua Joy. He'd love a sixth one here in the fifth. That one misses outside. It's a full count, and this is a big spot for Brendan Igerbro. Do you trust Irvine enough to put both runners in motion here, Blake and Leung? Leung's probably the faster runner, but honestly haven't seen enough of Blake to know how fast he is. See what the Beacons elect to do here. 3-2, no outs. The runners will not go. It's off the corner, and it's strike three. Oh, my. That is the widest this zone has gone today. We'll show you a replay, folks. That one looked outside. It was certainly tailing away from home plate, and that is a big strike three call behind the plate from Richard Cacciatore Jr. as he rings up Irvine. Brings up Steve Brookwell. So a huge swing in the momentum here. Beacons go from having a chance to have the bases loaded with no outs to an out and a possible double play away from getting Southern Maine out of the jam. 0-1, swing and a miss, and immediately Joy showing a little bit more confidence as he powers the fastball past Brookwell. Brookwell grounded out to third and struck out, swinging back in the third inning. He tries to put the ball in play here. Southern Maine already has one double play today. The 0-2 bounces up there, and a good job by Kamalainen, who's always been a good defensive catcher. Southern Maine consistently has very good defensive catchers who are not huge with the bat, but they've never asked for their catchers to be big with the bat. They've always had a ton of really good hitters, and they just want catchers who can kind of manage the pitching staff. The 1-2, that one looked very good, and instead it's a little bit low for ball two. That pitch honestly looked far better than the strike three call against Irvine, but Brookwell has life at 2-2. 2-2 offering to Brookwell. It's fouled off, and he'll get another one. Aiden Blake's at second base. The sophomore singled up the middle just underneath the glove of Olzak, the shortstop. Ryan Leung worked a walk. Beacons look to scratch across their first run of the game in the season. Brookwell fouls that one off his foot. An immediate scream from Frank Auditor, the base umpire, is Brookwell in immediate pain. Big spot in this game right now. 5-0 in the fifth. If the Beacons can get 2, you feel a little bit better. If you can get 3 or more, all of a sudden you're right back in this game. But you get a run across and you get some confidence. You get 2 or 3 runs across and then you feel like you're right back in it against top 25 team. Southern Maine certainly jumped on the Beacons early. Breaking ball the inside corner. Brookwell bailed out. And back-to-back strikeouts from Joy after allowing the first 2 hitters of the inning to reach. That was a very good breaking ball, and it's 7 strikeouts thus far for Joshua Joy. He had 8 strikeouts in his season opener against Husson University back on the 20th of March. Was actually named the LEC pitcher of the week for that one. (1-0) coming to Tirone, misses. 2-0. Tirone followed by Craig Corliss. Tirone has walked and singled, yet to be retired. 2-0. Instead, they'll look Blake back at second. No throw coming. Southern Maine with 5 runs on 8 hits and no errors. The Beacons with No runs, 3 hits, and 1 error that cost them 2 runs in the third inning. So this game could even be closer if the Beacons had just been a little bit better defensively. 2-0, hit back up the middle. They have a play. Instead, 2 defenders run into each other. Essentially, it allows the ball to get into center. Tirone's got an RBI single. The Beacons are on the board, and that is another possible momentum shift here. That looked like if someone took charge, they were going to have a play at second, and instead, it's going to go down as a single, a mental mistake. Olzak and Wilson, no communication, and the Beacons are on the board for the first time in 2021. As Tirone continues to be red hot. He's reached 3 times, and we're going to see a Beacons meeting as they talk to the hitter and the base runners here, trying to make this a crooked number in the 5th. Take a look at that play by Curtis Tirone. You see it's hit up the middle and no communication just to the right, and both guys kind of look at each other. No one goes for it. It allows Ryan Leung to move all the way up to third, scores Blake, and the Beacons catch a break there, because I think if either guy had really called for the ball, they probably would have had a chance to get Leung, if not at second, maybe play at first, at least keep a run from scoring there. So instead of possibly being out of the inning or the bases loaded with 2 outs, Beacons have a run in, 5-1, and it brings up Craig Corliss, the senior DH, looking for his first hit as a Beacon. Grounded into an inning-ending 4-6-3 double play in the first inning. Struck out looking to end the third inning. So a chance to redeem himself after he has left 2 runners through his first 2 at-bats. Takes the first pitch, hits it out to left. That'll score another run. The Beacons back to within 3. First pitch swinging from Craig Corliss, and he's got his first hit as a Beacon, and it's 5-2. So all of a sudden, a 5-2 game, and it brings up Michael Como, who is looking for his first hit. Como has grounded out to the first baseman, a nice pick by Arlo Pike, and struck out swinging in the 4th. A guy who's looking to take advantage of his first year potentially as a starter. He had a really good 4-game stretch his sophomore season when the Beacons were still looking for a starting first baseman before Ryan McCormick won the job. During that 4-game run, Como was about as hot as you can possibly get. 7 for 13 with 6 runs, 3 RBI, 4 doubles, and a homer. Como hits it hard out to right. Coming in is Visosky. He's not going to get there. They're going to send the runner Tirone from second base. He's going to score, and the Beacons are back within 2. A 3-run 5th inning, and the Beacons aren't done yet. Como first pitch swinging. The Beacons have jumped on Joshua Joy here in the 5th. The nice job by the Beacons' third base coach, Brad Fogel, the only returning member of the Beacons' assistant coaching group. UMass Boston has seen a couple of guys move on in their professional careers. First pitch to Gianni Zarrilli, a breaking ball, and he wisely took that. Couldn't have done anything with it, even though it caught the inside corner. Back-to-back-to-back RBI singles from the Beacons' 3 through 5 hitters. And it is a 5-3 game. Corliss moves up to second. Como is at first, as that nearly catches Zarrilli. And this is a very interesting inning because despite the fact the Beacons have 3, they could have even more. Ben Irvine was called out on a 3-2 pitch that looked like it was outside. The Beacons could have only 1 out in the inning and the bases loaded. Instead, they're not going to complain too much about 3, but that could be a turning point depending on how this game goes going forward as Zarrilli fouls it down the third baseline, 1-2. Gianni today singled in his first at bat of the season out to left center and struck out swinging, the 5th of 7 strikeouts today for Joshua Joy, who's trying to work out of a difficult spot here in the 5th. Takes it low. Did he check the swing? He did. 2-2 now. Joy is up to 83 pitches, but there is finally action out there in the Southern Maine pen. It looks like it's Bryce Aftim, the freshman reliever, who's a good long man. 2-2, chopped off the foot of Zarrilli. Second time we've seen that this inning. The Beacons had just 2 hits through the first 4 innings, but already 4 hits in the inning, including back-to-back-to-back RBI single. Scoreless at second, Como at first, both with big leads here with 2 outs. The 2-2 pitch, Gianni fouls it over towards the Southern Maine dugout. The Beacons in the dugout that's labeled UMass Boston on the first base side. They share this complex with Boston College High School, who has their name adorned on the visiting dugout. Joshua Joy and Gianni Zarrilli battling here as the Beacons try to potentially cut into this deficit further. 2-2 pitch hit hard off the middle. It's going to get past Wilson. They'll send Corliss. Heading to third is Como, and the Beacons have made it 5-4. 4 consecutive RBI singles, and UMass Boston is back into this game. Good piece of hitting there from Gianni Zarrilli. And I talked about it earlier. Brandon Eigerwelt said, we will not view this game as an exhibition, as a scrimmage. We can't afford to give up games, even though Southern Maine has the advantage in terms of just how many games they've played. Well, seeing this Beacons team fight back, and that'll do it for Joshua Joy. Pitched really well through 4 innings, but has come undone here in the 5th. 5 singles to go, actually make it, 5 singles and a walk. And the Huskies are not out of this jam yet, as they will go to the pen with 2 outs in the 5th inning. And UMass Boston, just like they've always kind of done against Southern Maine here at Monin Park, has gotten to the starter. One intriguing fact that I haven't had the chance to talk about because of our technical difficulties. One of Southern Maine's struggles here at Monin Park has been their starting pitching. Here at Monin Park, Southern Maine in 8 games has only had 1 quality start. 38 1/3 total innings pitched by their starters, 39 earned runs, an ERA of 9.16. And Joy is charged with at least 4 earned runs here in 4 2/3 innings, and he's not out of the jam with 2 more runners aboard that both would be charged to him if they were to score against the reliever Afton. Right now, we're going to show you all of the Beacons' RBI singles from this half inning, and then we'll be back with the next batter as the Beacons will bring Nick Palma, the 9th hitter of the inning, to the plate. It's not an easy spot for Bryce Aftim, the freshman righty out of Windham, Maine, to step into. Runners at first and third, just a single run lead after it was 5-0 to start the inning. And he'll face the Beacons 7-0 hitter senior Nick Palma, who has walked and grounded out to second. The Beacons have had 4 consecutive RBI singles here with 2 outs to cut into this 5-0 deficit. Another throw over. This one's closer. Gianni Zarrilli, the runner over at first base, I wouldn't say he's a big risk to go. He did attempt 2 steals last year in 4 games, went 1 for 2. Over at third base is Michael Cuomo. First pitch to Palma, slugged foul. The numbers on Afton, well, he's been very good. 7 appearances, tied for first on the team. 3-0, which is also tied for first. A 3.93 ERA in 18 1/3 innings. 1 save, 21 strikeouts to 7 walks. 14 hits, 9 runs, 8 earned. Opponents hitting just .209 against it. 0-1, and first we'll see Palma frustrated by the long delay. Afton has gone at least an inning or 2/3 6 times in 7 appearances and 3 or more innings 3 times. So this is a guy that we're going to see for a couple innings here unless he really gets roughed up. Throws over to first again. It's close. And Frank Auditor will just calmly say safe. It's really difficult to ring up a guy on a pickoff when Auditor up the middle here with runners on first and third. It's nowhere close to the bag. Just 1 pitch thrown thus far, 3 pickoff attempts at first. Afton's 0-1 and another foul ball down the left field side. Palma looking for his first hit of the season. Came in with 10 career hits in 44 appearances, 12 RBI. Looking for lucky number 13. 0-2, hits it over to the shortstop. Olzak, tough play, knocks it down. Isn't going to have a play to first, throws it over softly, and it's an infield single. 5 straight RBI hits from the Beacons, all singles, and they have tied this one up. You want to talk about a crooked number? Well, that's a huge one from UMass Boston, who looked sluggish out of the gate. It was the right play by Olzak to not try to do anything more than that. It brings up Aiden Blake, who started this inning with a single up the middle and scored. The Beacons have batted around here in the 5th. What a comeback. Runners at first and second for Blake, who struck out looking, singled, and scored. Blake fouls it off. Afton on Saturday came in with its team trailing 5-4 in Game 2, went 5 innings, got the win, 2 hits, 1 run, not earned, a career-high 7 strikeouts, just 2 walks, in a conference game against Western Connecticut State. He'll step off. 5 innings on Saturday. 3 days later, he's in today, and he's expected to go multiple innings. Might be expected to go another 5, or at least 4 1/3. Who knows? Team does have Colton Lawrence. We mentioned him earlier, a guy who has pitched against the Beacons in the past. The other name, Gavin Arsenault, who was a starter at Maine Farmington, a small Division III school, transferred within the state, and he's their nominal closer with 2 saves on the year. 1-1 pitch, misses wide, 2-1. UMass Boston started the inning with a single and a walk. Then there was a controversial strike 3 call, followed by another strike 3 looking, so 2 outs, and they followed it with 5 consecutive RBI singles. Throw to second, not in time. We've seen Afton really active in trying to pick off base runners. Brandon Eigerbrodt over in the on-deck circle talking to Ryan Leung about his approach against Afton. 2-1, too far inside, 3-1. There is a base open. Afton on the year, opponent's only hitting 209 against him, but just 7 walks in those 18 1/3 innings. Long look back at Zarrilli at second, and again we'll see the Beacons batter step off. say the two relievers in this game, DJ Lopes and Bryce Afton, are not guys who work quickly. But this is a key game. First of two meetings between these two teams. These two teams will meet again, not next Tuesday, but the Tuesday afterwards. Southern Maine will be coming off of a huge 4-game set against Eastern Connecticut State the previous Saturday. And if Eastern Connecticut State can do well against UMass Boston and Southern Maine, they will likely be the host of the LEC tournament. 3-2 pitch. That one catches the outside corner. Blake can't believe it. He was trotting down to first base, so Afton gets out of the inning, but not before the Beacons get 5 consecutive 2-out RBI singles. We head to the 6th, tied 5-5.
Being a part of the different activities and organizations that I've been a part of, I'm actually able to see myself where I'm like, hey, I actually can make a change. I'm one person that can make a difference.
Division III has helped me to develop teamwork skills, critical thinking skills, time management skills.
It's not just about basketball, or it's not just about school, it's about developing yourself as a person altogether.
UMass Boston on to their third pitcher of the day. This was scheduled. Don't think they necessarily thought Tyler Arruda was only going to make it through 3 innings, but a great job by DJ Lopes, Arruda's high school teammate, as he shuts down the Huskies in the 4th and 5th inning, allowing the Beacons to come back from a 5-0 deficit. Now it's up to Mike Doherty, who's the Beacons' most experienced reliever out of the pen, the senior, who last year went 1-0 with a 6.75 ERA, but for his career has been much better than that. This is his 32nd career appearance out of the pen, 5-0 with a 4.06 ERA, 44 1/3 innings, 38 strikeouts to 15 walks. Opponents with a career batting average of .236 against the senior out of Brewster, Massachusetts. Final line. For DJ Lopes. 2 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no earned, 2 strikeouts, and a walk, as he'll face 9-1-2 here. Donato Tachi, Sam Troiano, and Andrew Olzak. For Mike Doherty. Doherty does have 1 career appearance against Southern Maine. That came back in 2019, his sophomore year. Up at Southern Maine, he allowed a hit and a walk while striking out 2 in an inning of relief work. Donato Tachi did not just hit a home run, but he is at the plate and behind in the count 0-1. Nine-hole hitter and left fielder. Big breaking ball just misses. 1-1. Donato was a hockey player and baseball player at Portland High School. 3-time All-State in hockey, twice in baseball. Actually got the start as a true freshman last year against Trinity College. Went 1 for 4. Today he is 0 for 2, a fly out to center and a popped up bunt that was caught by the pitcher Arruda to end the third. Swung on and missed 1 and 2. Donato making his 10th appearance, just 2 for 17 entering today's game with a run scored and an RBI. Both of his hits, though, have been doubled. So a little bit of pop out of the left fielder. 1-2 pitch. Thought I was going to hit him. Instead, it's just a bit inside for ball 2. 5-5, top 6 here on the Little East.tv and the Beacons Broadcast Network. Doherty's 2-2 offering, popped up foul. UMass Boston's right back in action tomorrow, their first road game of the season. They travel all the way down to Danbury, Connecticut, a 3 p.m. start. And then the Beacons return home for a 5-game homestand beginning on Saturday with a pair of conference games against Castleton University. That doubleheader will start at 2:30 p.m. Breaking ball high? I don't quite know where that pitch missed. It was a curveball that came down, it looks like, at belt level on the outside half. But I'm not going to lie, I've been a little bit more confused by Richard Cacciatore Jr.'s strike zone as this game has gone along. 3-2 pitch fouled off. Tachi went 1 for 5 with a run scored, including a double in game 2. That snapped an 0 for 8 stretch at the plate over his previous 7 appearances. 3-2 pitch hit out to center. Irvine has a beat on it. Couple steps over towards the monster, and he'll make the play. So maybe a pitch or two more than Doherty would have liked to have thrown, but able to retire the leadoff hitter. Tachi is in the game because Dylan Hapworth, who is one of Southern Maine's top returners, an All-American and Rookie of the Year in the conference as a freshman, All-Region player as a sophomore and junior, is out for the 3rd consecutive game. So if you're wondering what happened to Hapworth, he's having a decent season. Has 4 doubles and 4 home runs on the year, but currently out of the lineup. And that's kind of been an issue with Hapworth ever since his freshman year. He's missed time as a sophomore and junior, and this is 5th year, senior year. Could be back for a 6th year if he wants it. Hasn't been able to stay as healthy. Brings up Sam Troiano. Has reached twice. Triple to lead off the game. That's going to be a foul pop that should get out of play. Craig Corliss has made 1 play by home plate, but that one was just a bit further back. Troiano tripled and scored in the first. Walked and was stranded in the second and struck out swinging. Fastball in and out of the glove, but a strike nonetheless. And you don't often see that called, but it certainly looked like it was a strike before it popped out of the glove. Doherty was one of the Beacon's secondary relievers during their trip to the College World Series in 2019. Breaking ball this time catches the outside corner. We've seen that big 12-6 curveball a couple times now from Doherty, and he's got his first strikeout of the season, 5th on the day for Beacon's pitching. So a chance for just the first true 1-2-3 inning of the season for the Beacons. DJ Lopes was able to get a 1-2-3 inning thanks to an inning-ending double play in the 4th. It's 1-0 to Andrew Olzak, who has had a sacrifice fly, an RBI single, and a single, so 2 for 2 on the day. One-0 pitch. There's that big curveball. 1-1. I don't know how long that'll work if he goes through the lineup a second time, but it certainly has caught the Huskies by surprise here in this first inning of work. It's a significant change in speed. 1-1. That's the changeup that catches the outside corner. 1-2. Doherty making quick work of this inning thus far. One and two, 2 outs. As Doherty looks to start off his senior campaign with a 1-2-3 frame. Long look in. The 1-2 fastball, and a great job by Olzak to just dive out. And Craig Corliss, I like that from the Beacon senior catcher, jumps up and immediately big fist pump. Really like the spot on that as Olzak had to reach out. Might have been ball 2, but good work from both the pitcher and the hitter. And we'll do it again here. Wonder if they go back to that big curve, or maybe they try to spike one into the turf here behind home plate. 1-2, it's the breaking ball. Not as good this time. 2-2. The Beacons were planning on using 5 pitchers in this game. Doherty is the third one, here in the 6th. My guess is that they'd ask Doherty to go the 6th and the 7th before turning it over to their 4th and 5th relievers. Check swing, did he go? He did. Olzak fooled by the breaking ball, and Doherty lets out an emphatic scream as he walks back to the dugout. Back-to-back strikeouts and a 1-2-3 inning for the first time this year. UMass Boston has a chance to take the lead here in the bottom of the 6th after trailing 5-0 heading into the 5th inning.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
Take a quick look around the rest of the conference. Plymouth State loses game 1 to Castleton. They're losing game 2, so Castleton moves to 4-1 in conference. Chance for a 5-1 as they already sat in second place coming in today. Plymouth State now 1-4. UMass Dartmouth trails Rick late in the 8th inning as Rick came in today at 1-3. Dartmouth at 2-4. And undefeated Eastern Connecticut State piling it on against Keene State. They look to move to 9-0. Keene State sitting at 1-4. UMass Boston, the only team without a win in conference play. They're also the only team to not have played a full game in conference, as the Beacons, with the win today, could end up in a tie in terms of wins with Plymouth State, Western Connecticut State, and Keene State, who've all played at least 4 games. In fact, if UMass Dartmouth came back, the Beacons would already have as many wins as the 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th place teams, as that is a swing and a miss. But Kamalinen's got to throw it down. It gets past the first baseman, Seymour, and it's a strike 3 wild pitch, and the Beacons have a runner at second base after the throwing error by Kamalinen. Have to take another look at that one. What a wild play to start off the bottom of the 6th inning, as the Beacons have a chance to take the lead here. After batting around in the 5th inning, sending 10 players to the plate. Off to a good start here. Ben Irvine still looking for his first hit as a Beacon. He was hit by a pitch and stole base in the 1st. Grounded out to 3rd in the 3rd and struck out looking on an interesting strike 3 call back in the 5th inning. 1-1 here to Irvine, former Northern Essex Community College and University of Maryland transfer. Irvine, in his lone year as a Terrapin, earned starts against Ohio State, VCU, and Villanova. Really good trio of basketball schools. Not sure how good they are at baseball. But anytime you're playing against another Big Ten team, I'm assuming they're pretty good, as Afton forces Leung to head back to second despite the fact no one was covering. Leung with good speed out there at second base. As Irvine, if he can just put this in play, will likely move Leung up to third. Irvine takes a pitch outside, a little bit higher than what he had seen his previous at-bat, but pretty close to the same spot in terms of the location on the plate. 2-2 here. Afton in his first full inning of work after coming on in the fifth inning and allowing the game-tying RBI single before getting out of it with the strikeout looking. He struck out 2 of the 3 batters he's faced, but unfortunately 2 of the 3 batters he's faced have reached base. So the count has run full, 3-2. To Irvine. Irvine takes it outside, and now there's runners at first and second and a ton of speed on the base pass for Steve Brookwell, who's also extremely fast. So I would not be surprised right now to see the Beacons either try to do a hit and run or potentially some kind of bunt play, as Brendan Eigerbrodt and UMass Boston have always been an extremely aggressive, extremely strong bunting team, especially since moving into Monin Park in 2019. Brookwell shows bunt, and will get it down the third base line. Only play is going to be to first. Hillier throws across the Seymour covering, and the Beacons have 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out. Brookwell gets the job done, and it'll bring up Curtis Tirone, who started that string of 5 consecutive RBI singles with 2 outs with a weird single up the middle, a high hopper that went in between the shortstop and the second baseman to the right of second base, and it's an intentional walk to load the bases. So Tirone has now reached 4 times today. 2 singles, 2 walks, and the Beacons have the bases loaded, which honestly is good for Southern Maine. They now have the force out and a possible double play to get out of it, but it brings up Craig Corliss. Corliss hit into an inning double play to end the first, 4-6-3, struck out looking to end the third, but had an RBI single out to left field and scored in the 5th. Corliss, another one of those transfers out of Siena College. Hitting in the cleanup spot, the catcher. And while this is the first time I've ever seen Craig, so it's a little bit hard to judge athleticism, probably a little bit slower just based off the position. Although there was a catcher for Westfield State. No, it was Roger Williams. I think it was Bosco, who was their leadoff hitter and tremendously fast. Is swinging and missing at the breaking ball, well out ahead. Is Corliss 1-1. Afton, remember, came in allowing just opponents to hit just 209, so not an easy guy to hit off of. Struck out 2, walked 2, a lot of single and a sac bunt thus far. 1-1, pitch hit back up the middle. Afton can't get there. The shortstop, Olzak, almost on the second base bag, instead throws to first. And the Beacons, with the bases loaded, unable to get out of the inning.
I'm the first undergraduate alumnus to lead this university. I'm very proud of that. I was literally able to transform my life because of the University of Massachusetts, and I want that for every single student that walks through the door.
take a look at that last play. Bases loaded and 1 out. See if Olzak, who just made it look so casual, held the bag. It looks like he did. It was able to pull that back foot and hold on. So it's an inning-ending 6-3 double play. It was difficult to tell originally, although the umpires clearly gave him the benefit. These are the 2 strikeout lookings by Michael Doherty from the top half of the 6th inning. And you can just see, there's the check swing, but Doherty pitching extremely well in his debut thus far. He's back on for a 2nd inning of work. So Doherty will face the middle of the order. Seymour, Hillier, and Wilson to start the 7th after the Beacons were unable to take the lead for the first time today. Bases loaded, 1 out, but Corliss hits into his 2nd double play of the day. Brings up Cam Seymour. Seymour has had his own difficult day. He has struck out swinging twice, both against starting pitcher Tyler Ruda, and then in inning-ending 3-6-3 double play in the 4th. So he comes up for the 4th time today, looking to get something going. 6 for his last 30 now. For a guy who, on this season, has just been tremendous for Southern Maine. 6 for 30, but he started the year 18 for 37. So 18 for 37 is about, just doing a little quick math, maybe 490, 487, somewhere in there. So certainly cooled down. He came in today hitting just under 360. Quickly behind 0-2 is another one of those big 12-6 curveballs. Has him frustrated by the strike call. Already turned into the first clean 1-2-3 inning of the season for the Beacons in the 6th. And he's got a 4th consecutive out. 3 straight strikeouts. And Seymour is down by way of the strikeout for the 3rd time today. This is as good as I can remember Mike Doherty looking throughout his collegiate career. 4 batters, a fly out to center, 2 strikeouts looking, and a check swing, strike 3. Really, really good start from Doherty, who's going to have to be a big piece of this Beacons pen, or maybe even a starter. Head out to shallow right. Brooklow is playing deep, comes in on it, and he retires Andrew Hillier. So 2 more quick outs. I almost wonder if you're Brendan Igerbro. Doherty's only thrown 18 pitches. Do you think about bringing Doherty on for a 3rd inning of work if he's able to get Jonathan Wilson and close out the inning here? Not out of the realm of possibility. Wilson, the 2nd baseman out of East Granby, Connecticut, grounded out to 2nd, walked and scored, and popped up to the 1st baseman. Came in today hitting .328, slugging .569 with 6 doubles, a triple, and 2 home runs. Oh, 1 to Wilson, who went 4 for 8 with 2 runs, a double, and an RBI on Saturday in the doubleheader against Western Connecticut. It was a weird doubleheader where Western Connecticut State hosted, but Southern Maine was the team hitting 2nd in both games. Had a walk-off in Game 2 on the road as it's hit out to center. Long run for Irvine, but he's able to cover the ground. And back-to-back 1-2-3 innings from Doherty. He's retired all 6 batters he's faced. The Beacons will get another crack at taking their first lead of the season in the bottom of the 7th, as UMass Boston will bring 5, 6, 7 to the plate. Como, Zarrilli, and Palma.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
UMass Boston Baseball, not the only team making their season opener today. Lacrosse hosts Southern Maine tonight at 7 p.m. in their first game in 402 days. So they beat baseball by 2 days. Softball hosts Castleton in a conference doubleheader, or actually it's Western Connecticut State in a conference doubleheader on Saturday. How about this for size? 717 days since the UMass Boston softball team last played in a game. Their last game, the 2019 LEC Championship Series. So, softball team, been a while, but hoping to continue a run of 4 consecutive trips to the LEC Championship Series that saw the team win the 2017 and 2018 LEC titles. Quickly 0-2 here to Michael Cuomo. 0-2 pitch from Afton misses wide, 1-2. The UMass Boston outdoor track and field teams back in action as well. They will compete this weekend. Still waiting on the details of what meet. The 1-2 catches the helmet there, the brim. And Michael Cuomo, who had an RBI single back in the 5th inning, reaches for the second time. And he is a leadoff base runner here in the 7th. The Beacons have now had leadoff base runners in 3 consecutive innings after failing to do it in the 1st through 4th. Brings up Gianni Zarrilli, who has singled twice, struck out, and had an RBI single to make it 5-4 back in the 5th inning. The Beacons trailed 5-0 after 4 because Southern Maine scored 1 in the 1st, 2 in the 2nd, 2 in the 3rd. The Beacons answered with 5 2-out singles in the 5th to tie this game at 5. First pitch to Zarrilli, breaking ball in there for strike 1. Zarrilli to be followed by Nick Palma and Aiden Blake. 5, 6, 7 to start this 7th inning as Bryce Afton is on for his second full inning of work. He came on with 2 outs and a 5-4 game with runners at 1st and 3rd in the 5th. Gave up an RBI infield single to Nick Palma before striking out Aiden Blake on a 3-2 pitch to end the 5th. In the 6th inning, got off to an inauspicious start. Struck out the first batter, but a wild pitch and an error put Ryan Leung at second. Then walked Ben Irvine. Sack bunt put runners at 2nd and 3rd. An intentional walk loaded the bases, but he was able to get a 6-3 inning-ending double play thanks to his shortstop, Andrew Olzak. Really making Afton work here. First time these two players, who are both in their 2nd year of college baseball, have faced off against each other. Southern Maine just 1 game last year. Beacons got in 4 before the COVID pandemic ended the season. This one's hit softly down the left field line. Long run for Hillier, and he can't make the play. It bounces just to his left, and the Beacons have 2 on after a single to no man's land. Just barely ends up behind the glove of Hillier, who made a great bid to get there in time. Not hit hard, but hit to the perfect spot out there down the left field line. A little bit of shadows as well coming off of the lights. Might even been caught up a little bit in terms of the lights, which are already on here. So 2 on. No outs for Nick Palma, who tied the game with that infield single, his first hit of the season. He's reached twice, a walk and a single. Shows bunt here. Just as the Beacons did in the previous inning with 2 runners on at 1st and 2nd and no outs. Previous inning, it was Steve Brookwell who put down a perfect bunt down the 3rd base side. Palma trying to do the same and does so. Good bunt. Hillier's only play is to 1st. This time it'll be the 2nd baseman, Jonathan Wilson, covering. So 5-4 on the sack bunt, but again, the Beacons get the job done. See what Ed Flaherty elects to do here. Do you intentionally walk Aiden Blake to get to Ryan Leung, 8-hole hitter versus 9-hole hitter? Well, the Beacons aren't going to let them do that. We're going to see Chris Duco come on as a pinch hitter. The Beacons want to put someone from the left side. And Nick Palma, who just put down that great bunt, is going to give him some words of advice about what he saw from Bryce Hampton. Faced him twice. So Ed Flaherty in this position the last time elected to intentionally walk the left-handed hitter. No intentionally walks shown thus far as Duco, who was actually battling Palma for that starting left field spot, sophomore out of dead and mass. It looks like they're going to pitch to it. Infield is in here with one out in the bottom of the seventh in a tie game. Duco hits the ball over to the second baseman. He's going to come home. Wilson's throw is there in time. The tag is there in time. And the Beacons unable to drive the runner home. It'll go down as a 4-2 fielder's choice. Como erased. And Zarrilli, a nice job to move up on the play. So Ryan Leung will get a shot here. First pitch is ball one. Good speed on the base pass. Zarrilli at third. Duco at first. For Leung, who one of the Beacons' top hitters last season in obviously just the 4 games. Still looking for his first hit of the day. Does have a walk. Hits it over to third baseman. Hilliard takes it on a short hop, has time, throws across. And for the second consecutive inning, the Beacons put 2 runners in scoring position with 1 out, but unable to take the lead. We head to the 8th inning. It is Southern Maine 5, UMass Boston 5.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
UMass Boston makes a trio of changes to start the 8th inning. Beacons will bring on Danny Colazzo, the junior out of Stamford, Connecticut, as a defensive replacement in left field. They'll bring on Noah Motter, who replaces the pinch hitter Chris Duco in the 8th spot. Motter, the senior out of Texas, and the new pitcher is Thomas Pierce, who replaces Mike Doherty, who is about as effective as you could possibly be. Doherty, in 2 innings of work, did not allow a hit, did not allow a run, did not allow a base runner, while striking out 3, and he's replaced by Thomas Kearse, the sophomore left-hander. Kearse made 1 appearance as a freshman against Suffolk, an inning, no hits, no runs, 3 groundouts. The shortstop, second baseman, and pitcher. He will face off against 6'7", Arlo Pike, Tom Visosky, and Jason Kamalainen. First pitch is in there for ball 1. The Beacons fell behind 5-0 in the first 3 innings as Kearse, his 1-0 offering, catches Pike. UMass Boston fell behind 5-0, scored 5 runs in the 5th to tie it, and honestly had great chances to take the lead in the 6th and 7th inning. In the 6th, they loaded the bases with 1 out, but an inning-ending double play, 6-3, cost the Beacons. And in the 7th, runners at 2nd and 3rd with 1 out, back-to-back groundouts, including an out at the plate, cost UMass Boston. So now Southern Maine looking to retake the lead. Tom Visosky here at the plate with the Motter way in at third base. First pitch is hit out towards the right field line. Long run here for Brookwell, who's going to not be able to make the play in foul territory. Difficult play running into the sun, and unfortunately unable to make that play for Kearse, who's looking for that first out of his sophomore season. If he had fallen there, it might have given, if he had been able to fall and make the catch, might have been a chance there for Pike to advance to second on a tag. So that might not be the worst thing for the Beacons. Visosky today singled in each of his first 2 at-bats. Stole and scored in the 2nd. Had an RBI in the 3rd and struck out swinging against Lopes in the 5th. 3rd different pitcher he's faced in 4 appearances. Takes it on the outside corner right at the knees. Count runs to 0-2. My name is Seth Dorensky, bringing you all the action of this 2021 season and home opener here for UMass Boston. First meeting between the Southern Maine Huskies and UMass Boston Beacons of the season. They'll face off again on Tuesday, April 27th. That one at Ed Flaherty Field, 3 p.m. start. Southern Maine came into this one ranked 21st in the country, 11-6, 3-3 in conference play, 3rd out of 9 teams. The Beacons dead last because they haven't played a conference game. Everyone else in the conference has played at least 3 games coming into today. Eastern Connecticut State playing their 9th conference game of the year, looking like they're going to move to 9-0. And the sad part is, Eastern Connecticut State's baseball team, 9-0, 15-2 overall, isn't even their best team on campus. Softball team has moved up to the top 10 in the country. They haven't lost a game yet. Last time I checked, they were 14-0. So, could be a busy spring for the Eastern Connecticut State staff, but I'm sure they'll enjoy it. Count runs to 2-2. Here to Tom Visosky, followed by Jason Kamalainen, although I wonder, this late in the game, don't know what their catching depth is, but in past years, they would pinch hit for the catcher and bring on their 2nd or 3rd catcher in a spot like this, looking to get a little bit more offense. 2-2 coming to Visosky, hits it over the shortstop, could be 2. Zarrilli able to find Leung to throw across. It's low, but Como scoops it out, and the Beacons come up with a big-time 6-4-3 double play. Have to take a look at that one when we get a chance, as UMass Boston able to turn their 2nd double play of the day. We've seen Southern Maine turn 2 of their own. Both of these teams typically amongst the country's best defensive side. That erases Southern Maine's first base runner in a couple innings. Hit out to right. This one tailing away from Brookwell, and it's going to get down and over the right field fence. So Jason Kamalainen has himself a double. And Southern Maine, just like that, has a runner in scoring position with 2 down for Donato Tachi. I think, though, we're going to see a pinch hitter, and we will. It's going to be Southern Maine's Brogan Searle Belanger, the transfer from Division I University of Maine, who will come on. And right now we're going to see Brennan Eigerbrook come out and have a conversation with Kears. I don't know if this is just a conversation about the situation and the batter, or maybe they're going to get a pitcher warm, although no one is yet to start warming up for UMass Boston. Right now, let's take a look at that 6-4-3 double play that really looms large right now after the double from Kamalainen. You see here, just a tailor-made Zarrilli, just a really good feed to Leung, gives him time. It's a low throw, but Como has tremendous hands over there at first base, able to make the play. And we've got a good look, I'm being told, from third base. And look at this scoop. That is a really nice play from Como, who just a great defensive player, can swing it a little bit, has a RBI single today, a hit by pitch. Really easy guy to root for, who's struggled to get chances playing behind some upperclassmen his first couple of years. Brings up Brogan Searle Belanger, junior out of Saco, Maine, former Maine Gatorade Player of the Year out of Thornton Academy, making his 11th appearance on the season, 3 for 21, 4 runs, 2 RBI, a double, and 5 strikeouts versus 1 walk. This past week really struggled. 0 for 8 in a pair of midweek games with 3 strikeouts, and also went 0 for 1 as a pinch hitter on Saturday. Clearly, the catcher and pitcher were mixed up there as Corliss comes out to talk to Kears. So 1-0 to Searle Belanger, who spent his first 2 years at the University of Southern Maine. In 2019, appeared in 12 games, went 8 for 31, 3 runs scored, 4 RBI. He made 1 start in 2020, finished 0 for 3 against Louisiana Tech. Then the season was canceled a week later. 1-0 pitch, popped up foul. Big spot here for Thomas Kears, trying to get a scoreless inning. The sophomore out of Cohasset, Mass. 2-time South Shore All-Star, won a Tobin Division Championship at Cohasset. His senior season, he went 3-1 with a 2.03 ERA in 31 innings. 37 strikeouts to 3 walks. Fastball misses high and wide. As a senior, opponents hit just 185 against him. Struggled a bit with his control in this inning. Hit a batter, got a 6-4-3 double play, and then gave up a double on the next pitch down the right field line to Kamalainen, who's out there at second base. Here comes the 2-1 offering to Brogan Searle Belanger. Bounces up there. Corliss can't find it, but no advance. Really want to go after Searle Belanger with Sam Troiano, the leadoff hitter, due up next. Troiano in his 4th season in Southern Maine Gold and Navy Blue. Former LEC Rookie of the Year, and a guy who a very, very experienced hitter. One of the best in the Little East Conference coming into this season in terms of their career stat. So 3-1 pitch. Let's see what Kears gives Searle Belanger. Hit out to right. Should be playable for Brookwell. We saw him battle with the sun and the elements previously in the inning, but this time he's able to make the play, and Kears works his way in and out of trouble. We head to the bottom of the 8th. The Beacons have threatened to take the lead on 2 occasions. See if they can take the lead right here in the bottom of the 8th, as UMass Boston will bring the top of the lineup up. Irvine, Brookwell, and Tirone.
Something I discovered in myself is that if I have a goal, then I can accomplish it.
It's a well-rounded experience.
At a Division III school, you primarily a student athlete, so the school is really shaped around you developing yourself as a complete individual.
It helps a lot that you have a family with your team that can guide you.
Take a look ahead for UMass Boston. Talk about a lot of games in a short period of time. The Beacons will play 16 conference games between today, the 13th of April, and the 8th of May. It starts today against Southern Maine. Then tomorrow the Beacons will take the long trip down to Western Connecticut State. I think for the first time in 5 or 6 years, there have been Beacons who have played their entire careers without ever heading down to the Westside Athletic Complex. Then the Beacons will be home on Saturday, a doubleheader against Castleton. Be back next Tuesday with a home game against Rhode Island College, and then they'll finish off their 5-game homestand with a doubleheader against Plymouth State next Saturday beginning at noon. Beacons will play 10 of their 16 games here at Monin Park. Did Irvine offer at that first one? They say no. Irvine is a guy you'd really like to get on base here in the 8th inning. To lead off, he was hit by a pitch in the first and stole a base, stranded at third. This one hit softly over to second baseman Wilson. Field throws, and Irvine is retired for the 3rd time today. So UMass Boston, after putting the leadoff base runner on in the 5th, 6th, and 7th inning, unable to do so here in the 8th. Brings up Steve Brookwell. Brookwell has grounded out to third, struck out twice, and put down a great sac bunt in the 6th to put runners at second and third with just 1 out. "1-0 from Afton, who's been really good in relief. Gets a swing and a miss there from Brookwell on the breaking ball. Afton came on with 2 outs in the 5th, allowed a game-tying RBI single, but then got a strikeout to end the jam. And now has pitched 2 2/3 innings without giving up a run. In fact, he's given up just 2 hits in those 2 2/3 innings. Brookwell in on the hands. Hillier has been very active today, and he makes another play. Very sure-handed player over at third base. As they say, the bobble that came on the play was after on the exchange. And it'll bring up Curtis Tirone. Not to jinx anything, but we have seen these two teams go to extra innings before at Monin Park. There's a big swing and a miss from Tirone. Curtis Tirone might be the Beacons' player of the game thus far. 2 for 2 with a walk and an intentional walk. Has a run scored and an RBI. He's been really big for the Beacons. The DH hitting out of the 3 spot. Started his career at Patrick Henry Community College as a pitcher. That was all the way back in 2015. Then in 2017, he was an infielder/pitcher and joined the Beacons for the 2020 season. He takes that low and outside. Tirone was off to a hot start in 2020. 4 for 12 with 2 runs, 3 RBI, 3 doubles, and a triple. 1-2 pitch. Tirone rips it out to right. All this guy does is hit. 3 for 3 has reached 5 times. See if the Beacons can get another 2-out rally here. They scored 5 runs with 2 outs back in the 5th. And it all started with Tirone, followed by Corliss. Corliss has had an up-and-down day. Has grounded into a pair of inning-ending double plays, a 4-6-3 and a 6-3, as we're going to get a pinch runner for the DH. Looks like it's going to be number 10 for UMass Boston. That is Thomas Q. Junior shortstop/third baseman for the Beacons out of Shrewsbury, Mass. Scoreless is grounded into a pair of double plays and struck out, but also has an RBI single. Big part of that 5 consecutive hits with RBI singles with 2 outs back in the 5th inning. Afton loves to throw over, especially first. And Thomas Q is just going to take a nice big lead right back. Not going to be intimidated. Q was a guy who saw a couple games as a freshman at shortstop, mostly as a bench player. Scoreless swings at the big breaking ball. 0-1. Last season, he was battling Noah Motter at third base. But today, the third base start goes to Aiden Blake, who was battling for the shortstop job a year ago. Still very early in the season, although this is a very short season at just 16 regular season games. Afton taking his time, the 0-1. Scoreless swings and misses. Q takes off. It's a good throw. Wilson's tag applied is in time. Great throw from Kamalainen. And we head to the 9th, tied at 5.
I just wanted to get good grades and to do well. But it also made me realize that I have a lot of career goals.
You're there to get a full college experience, not only participate in your sport, but participate in things outside of that, and it's all about growing as a person.
My coaches have helped me with figuring out who I really am. Their lives are dedicated for us to succeed.
The new pitcher for UMass Boston is Ethan Herrera. Very interesting guy in that, as a freshman, he was listed as an outfielder. He appeared in all 4 games as a pinch runner. In fact, Herrera, as a pinch runner, did a nice job. 1 run. In fact, it was the go-ahead run against MIT, although the Beacons gave up that lead in their only loss of the 2020 season. Herrera, a sophomore out of Newington, Connecticut, 6 foot 180, 2-time all-conference player in high school. According to some Max Prep stuff I found on him, was touching 76 on his fastball as a senior with a curve on a changeup. Sure that his velocity has gone up working with UMass Boston athletic performance coach Jeff Ebbs, and right now the first thing that pops off is got some good movement on these breaking balls. First collegiate relief appearance. Pressure spot here for UMass Boston. Top of the 9th. Tie game and face off against the top of the order. 1, 2, 3. Troiano, Olzak, and Seymour. 3 of the top 4 hitters in this Southern Maine lineup. For UMass Boston, the bottom of the 9th, it will be Corliss, Como, and Zarrilli. And I will say that for UMass Boston, you really don't want this game to go to extras. Their goal was to throw these 5 pitchers, and 4 of the 5 have pitched really well. Tyler Ruda was charged with 5 runs, 3 earned over the first 3 innings, but the other relievers have yet to give up a run. In fact, between DJ Lopes, Mike Doherty, and Thomas Kearse, those 3 have combined to pitch 5 scoreless innings, allowing just 3 hits and a walk while striking out 5. Herrera, first pitch breaking ball for strike 1 to Troiano, who swings through a pitch inside and low 0-2. Troiano today tripled to lead off the game and scored. Walked and was straight in second. Since then has struck out twice, once swinging, once looking. 0-2 is low. Beacons defeated Southern Maine 4-3 in 11 innings back in, I believe that was 2018. In fact, yeah, it was 2018 because the Beacons hosted the LEC tournament that season. The only game that has gone to extras here at Monin Park between these two sides, and I think the only game that's gone to extras between these two sides since at least 2016. For the most part, two teams have not played close games here at Monin Park as Tirone hits it deep into the hole. Tough play for Zarrilli. Picks, throws long, throw, it's in time. That is not an easy play against a player of Sam Troiano's speed, but Zarrilli took his time and an accurate high-velocity throw to get Troiano for the first out. You look at the 8 all-time games for Southern Maine here at Monin Park, 0-8 in those games. They've lost 7-1, 13-6, 5-3, 9-1, 4-3, 7-3, 6-1, and 7-3. So their 5 runs in today's game are their second most runs ever scored in a game at Monin Park, which typically is a field that sees a high number of runs scored on, although it's not easy to score against the Beacons pitching staff that has traditionally been very good. Most of those years under Beacons alum Daniel Gamble as the pitching coach. This year, Justin Kelly takes over, working with former Beacons ace Fernando Burgos, who's out in the bullpen as the Beacons bullpen coach. One chopped over the third baseman Motter, his first play of the game. High throw, and it gets away from Como. Como's going to have to back himself up. That throw took Como off the bag, and the error will be charged to Motter. So just the Beacons' second error of the game. Both of them charged to the third baseman, Blake, in the third inning, which ultimately allowed 2 unearned runs to score. Hopefully the Beacons can make up for that miscue. At least it was only a 1-base error there by Motter. Como almost able to make the grab, but not sure if his foot would have been able to find the bag. This brings up Cam Seymour, who is 0 for 4 today. Struck out swinging twice and looking a third time, and then grounded into a 3-6-3 double play. The Beacons would love third double play of the day. Herrera's first pitch is fouled off down the left field side. We talked about it a couple times, but Seymour, who's just been fantastic, including a 3-home run game, which tied the program record, 3 home runs, 8 RBI in his Little East debut, a 4 for 5 game against UMass Dartmouth, but recently has struggled. He's now 6 for his last 31 over his last 7+ games, but this has a chance to get down. Hit down the right field line, tailing foul, and it will get foul. That had a chance to be a go-ahead 2-run homer, but just couldn't quite stay fair long enough. Monin Park opened in 2016. In 4 full seasons and a little bit more, I have never seen someone hit the UMass Boston version of pesky Paul. Although quite a few players have been close. 0-2 here. Let's see if Herrera can put Seymour away or get a ground ball. He's induced 2 ground balls thus far. 0-2 from Herrera. It's chopped down through the right side. That'll get past Leung. And looking but not heading to third base is Olzak. So 2 runners on with just the 1 out. But huge that Brookwell was able to keep Olzak from advancing any further. And for Seymour, his first hit of the day in 5 at-bats is a big one. But 2 on with 1 out here in the top of the 9th inning. Brings up Andrew Hillier, the third baseman, who's been so good today. Hillier, the cleanup batter, has doubled, walked, singled, and flown out to right. Big spot for the 5th-year senior. Takes the first pitch, gets away from Corliss. And that is really unfortunate. So after the wild pitch moves the two runners up to second and third, the Beacons will give the intentional walk to Andrew Hillier, loading up the bases for Jonathan Wilson. And Brendan Eigerbrodt wants to have a chat with his sophomore pitcher making his collegiate debut and the Beacons infield here. The bases are full of Huskies, an out at every base. That's the positive, with just the one out. Herrera got the leadoff batter on a nice play by Zarrilli at short, but then an error by Motter put Olzak on. A single through the right side. Runners at first and second. The wild pitch advanced both runners in the scoring position, and then Brendan Eigerbrodt electing to intentionally walk Hillier, which I think was the right decision at that point, loads up the bases here in the top of the ninth. UMass Boston fought back from a 5-0 deficit, had chances to take the lead in the 6th and 7th with runners in scoring position, and just one out, unable to do so. And now here in the 9th, they've got a battle to get out of this jam. It'll be Jonathan Wilson, the sophomore second baseman out of East Granby, Connecticut. Wilson has grounded out to second, walked and scored, popped up to the first baseman, and flown out to center. Beacons are going to play the corners in, and right now the middle infield is at double play depth. So expect first and third if the ball's hit to them to go home, unless it's taking them towards the base. Then they could possibly try to go for two across the diamond. But the middle infielders are going to try to turn two. First pitch bounces up there for ball one to Wilson. Nowhere to put him. Wilson on the year. 15 runs and 15 RBI coming into today's game. One of the team's top run producers. Herrera's 1-0. Low again, 2-0. Remember, a sophomore, but making his first appearance on the bump. At least his first appearance on the bump collegiately. Can the Beacons get out of this jam after they worked so hard to dig themselves out of a hole? 2-0 coming, hit over to the shortstop, Zarrilli. He's going to try to turn two. To Leung, struggles to get it out. Como, an amazing play, and they say it came off the bag. Oh my goodness. That was a tremendous job to scoop it out, and Como looks at the umpire and says, I think I got it. The run comes in. It's a fielder's choice. Wilson didn't beat the throw, but they're going to say Como wasn't able to keep his foot on. There's runners at first and third. Coming in to score is Olzak. And it brings up Arlo Pike. So Cam Seymour moves up to third. Olzak scores the go-ahead run. Hillier is erased on the 6-4 fielder's choice, and Wilson aboard on the fielder's choice. Huge to get one here for if you're Southern Maine, but you'd love to get a hit and potentially make it a 2 or 3 run lead. Awkward swing and miss there, almost a half swing from Arlo Pike. Pike has doubled and scored, reached on an error by the third baseman and scored, walked, and reached on a hit by pitch. It's reached all 4 times today. And the throw gets away on the pickoff. That'll allow another run to score. Heading up to second base is Wilson, and he'll stay there. So the Beacons have given up 2 runs on 2 errors here in the inning. And that's what you really didn't want to do. Just give Southern Maine a run after the Beacons were so close to getting out of it on that possible double play ball. That'll go down as an E1. And the Huskies have taken a 7-5 lead. For UMass Boston, it'll be the middle of the order, 4, 5, 6 in the ninth, but going to be a larger hill to climb here. The 0-1 is fouled off, 0-2. Frustrating because the Beacons made that one defensive miscue in the third that allowed 2 runs to come in eventually. And now 4 of Southern Maine's 7 runs have been unearned. Southern Maine with 7 runs on 10 hits and 1 error. The Beacons with 5 runs on 10 hits and 3 errors. 0-2 coming with 2 outs and Wilson over at second base. Check swing. Did he hold? They say he did. We'll take a look at that possible double play ball that almost went the Beacons' way before this inning ends. It was a great play by Zarrilli Jr. to Cuomo, and the throw just kind of dragged him off. Certainly was close. Cuomo did a great job to dig out the throw from Leung, but ultimately ruled him safe as this ball's chopped over to second. Should get the Beacons out of it. Leung grabs, throws, and the Beacons are out, but not before Southern Maine scores a pair of unearned runs to take a 7-5 lead heading into the bottom of the ninth inning. And let's, before we head to commercial, take one last look at that ball off the bat of Jonathan Wilson that put the Huskies ahead here in the top of the ninth. As you see, Zarrilli to Leung. Leung struggled to get it out of his glove, and that forced him to throw it low. See the throw over, and we're going to get a second look, and this will give us a better idea. It was close, and Cuomo, he was able to get his foot back on the bag, but it came off, and that might have been a tie. Let's take a look, if we can slow it down for you, one last look before we head to commercial. This is as close as it gets, and really great camera work. To Leung, struck. I think he's out. That is a crucial call in this game and really frustrating for UMass Boston. Cuomo did such a great job of coming off and getting his foot back on the bag. And not to make light of things, but that could be the difference in this game as the Beacons, if they can score 1 but not 2 here, have a real argument with the base umpire, Frank Auditor, who's not in an easy position. Remember, in these college games, you only get 2 umpires. With multiple runners on base, Auditor was over at second base, did not have the greatest angle, and that's a frustrating one for UMass Boston, but they're not out of it yet. Craig Corliss, Michael Cuomo, and Gianni Zarrilli to face Bryce Afton, who came on with 2 outs in the 4th inning, or in the 5th inning, excuse me, replacing Joshua Joy, who the Beacons got to for 5 earned runs. Afton gave up a single to tie it, but since then has thrown a scoreless 6th, 7th, and 8th inning. And now looking to pick up his 2nd consecutive victory and 4th on the season. Be his 4th win in 4th of the team's 12 wins. Corliss was at the plate in the 8th inning when Thomas Q was thrown out stealing with 2 outs, so gets a new count, and it's 1-1. Corliss, the senior out of Hopkinton, Massachusetts, who spent his first 3 years at Siena College, making his 68th collegiate appearance and first with the Beacons. On the day, grounded into a pair of double plays, struck out, and had an RBI single and scored in the 5th. When the Beacons have done all of their damage thus far. Corliss hits it out to left center. This one's deep. Troiano going after it at the track. It's going to be off the wall, and Craig Corliss has a leadoff extra base hit. The Beacons' first extra base hit of the season. UMass Boston, a good start here in the 9th against Afton. Now, if Nico Kaides was available in this game, you'd figure the Beacons would potentially pinch run for their catcher. And they still might pinch run. Brendan Eigerwald's looking down. The bench, and I think we are going to see a pinch runner here for Corliss, because you got to have speed out on the base pass in this kind of situation. It looks like it's going to be number 19, Max Andrade, the freshman out of Tewksbury, New Jersey, attended Voorhees High School. So Andrade out there at second base for Cuomo, who stands up there as the tying run. Cuomo has reached his last 2 at-bats. RBI single in the 5th and a hit by pitch. He is 1 for 3, is also grounded out to first and struck out swinging. Beacons need at least 2 to tie, 3 to walk it off. 1-0 pitch from Afton. Fastball that trails outside, 2-0. Biggest thing right now is you need base runners. You don't need to be ultra aggressive, swinging, looking for the 2-run homer. Honestly, there's very little wind. The flags are barely flapping out and right, so it's going to be difficult to hit one out right now. Low, 3-0. Southern Maine has no action in their pen. Neither does UMass Boston. If this goes to extras, this is Afton and Herrera's game. UMass Boston would love this game to go to extras at this point. 3-0 pitch coming to Cuomo, and he'll take it on the outside corner, 3-1, and there was no way that Cuomo was swinging at that pitch. Walk here is just as good as a hit. Andrade out there at second base, the pitch runner making his collegiate debut after Corliss led off the inning with a double off the mini monster and left. 3-1 foul back. Monin Park, an exact replica of Fenway Park's dimensions, with the lone exception that the wall and left is 27 feet high instead of 37 feet. 3-2 now, as Afton looks to get this first out of the bottom of the 9th inning. Swung on and missed, an overpowering fastball, and a big first out for Afton. That is his 3rd strikeout, but just his first since the leadoff batter in the 6th inning. Brings up Gianni Zarrilli, who has 3 singles today and an RBI, including a single against Afton. One of just 4 hits the Beacons have against Afton in 3 2/3 innings. Beacons had 2 runners in scoring position in both the 6th and the 7th inning, and a runner on in the 8th inning, unable to take the lead after trailing 5-0 and tying it 5-5. Southern Maine putting 2 runs across in the top of the 9th, thanks to a pair of Beacons errors and what looks like a missed call by the base umpire that would have ended the inning. Zarrilli fouls it off down the right side. Stays at 0-2 to Zarrilli, who will be followed by, well, what the spot is Danny Colazos, but it looks like Kevin Carrera, freshman out of Sandwich, Mass, is in the on-deck circle, as Colazos much more of a defensive player at this point in his career. 0-2. Bounces up there. Remember, the Beacons replaced Nick Palma defensively after the 7th inning when Palma put down a good sacrifice bunt to put 2 on in scoring position with just the 1 out. 1-2 to Zarrilli. Another foul ball. Afton went 5 innings on Saturday in Game 2 against Western Connecticut State and got the win. Well, today he's not going to be asked to do 5 innings, but he is going to be asked to go 4 1/3. Needs 2 more outs. 1-2, hit over to the third baseman. Hillier looks back. Andrade throws across in time. And the Huskies are 1 out away from getting their first ever win here at Monin Park in 9 tries. Beacons will make the substitution official. It is going to be Kevin Carrera in the 7th spot. And remember, the Beacons have also pinch hit and pinch run and defensive replaced in the 8th spot as well, as Noah Motter, who committed that the first of 2 Beacons errors in the top of the 9th, is in the on-deck circle if the Beacons can extend this game for it. So Kevin Carrera, what a spot to make your collegiate debut. Season opener against a nationally ranked team. Your team down by a pair of runs in the bottom of the 9th. Just need to get you to get on in any way possible. Carrera listed as a catcher/outfielder, 5'8", 175 from Sandwich, Mass. Went to Sandwich High School down on the Cape. 0-1 offering is high, 1-1. And now the Beacons actually have a pinch hitter in the on-deck circle. Jason Sullivan, another freshman out of Rentham, Mass, would be up next. So the Beacons would be using their 4th player of the day in the 8-hole if it gets to that point. 1-1, foul down the first base side, and the Beacons are potentially down to their final strike. This started very poorly for UMass Boston, and honestly for this webcast. We're not going to lie, we had some struggles early on. But the Beacons came back to tie it at 5-5, and they played a really good game considering they haven't had a scrimmage at intra-squad. This is their first game of any kind here in 2021. And no fall ball in the fall as Carrera is overpowered by the fastball, and Southern Maine wins it. But not before UMass Boston mounted a humongous comeback and honestly played a really good first game of the season. There's no moral victories. I'm sure Brendan Eigerbrodt isn't going to be happy with the loss, but for a team that has had to fill as many spots as UMass Boston has had to fill because of graduation the last 2 years, Beacons really put it to Southern Maine at points. To only fall 7-5, not too shabby, and these 2 teams will play again in 2 weeks. I'm sure UMass Boston will be a little crisper, a little bit more confident, and who knows what could happen up at Ed Flaherty Field. All the Beacons are looking to do is get into the LEC tournament. They'll go from there in terms of figuring their team out. Right now, we'll play you all the highlights we have, even from the first and second inning when we weren't even live, and then we'll recap, give you a quick look ahead for UMass Boston, and we'll wrap it up here from Monin Park as Southern Maine wins it 7-5 to spoil the Beacons' 2021 season and home opener. Turning it over to the 4th and 5th relievers. Innings, 18 strikeouts to just 4 walks. They get 9, struggled as of late. 2 and 5 in their last 7. That one catches the corner. 3-2 offering from Lopes, and he swings through the fastball. Well, that's what you. Three and 2, no outs. The runners will not go. It's off the corner, and it's strike 3. Oh my. Is one of the Beacon's secondary relievers during their trip to the College World Series in 2019. Breaking ball this time catches the outside, turning it over to their 4th and 5th relievers. Check swing, did he go? He did. Olzak fooled by the breaking ball, and Doherty clean 1-2-3 inning of the season for the Beacons in the 6th. And he's got a 4th really able to find Leung. The throw across, it's low, but Como scoops. To Leung, struggles to get it out. Como, an amazing play, and they say can't. Inter-squad, this is their first game of any kind here in 2021. And no fall ball in this fall as Carrera is overpowered by the fastball. Run back here. 1-2 pitch. It's a great breaking ball on the inside. And welcome back. Those were the highlights from today's 2021 season and home opener for UMass Boston. A 7-5 setback, though. The Beacons fought back from 5-0 after just 3 innings. Pretty impressive performance for the Beacons against the Southern Maine team that's been nationally ranked all season and that is playing in their 18th game. That's going to do it for us. I'd like to give a shout-out. We don't have all their names on the production crew, but first off, Allie Crawford and Mary Jo Murphy, who helped out today. Their first time back on campus, working a game in 400 days, did a great job solo for about the first 3 or 4 innings. And then our softball team, I think we saw Allie Crawford, Emily Doble, Lauren Bethea, a couple of other softball players who ran after practice to do the cameras. Want to thank all of those people. That'll do it for Monon Park. Southern Maine wins 7-5.